So I think the biggest change in the insurance sector is the way we have started to look at the business. Earlier, it was more like a push strategy, and we took it for granted that insurance products will still be sold. But now, regardless of boundaries or regardless of countries, every insurance company is trying to frame the solutions, the strategy around the customer. So we have started to understand the customer better. We are following the customer very closely, their preferences, their behavior, the way they want to interact with the industry. Something is also very much changing. And the best part is the insurance sector as a whole is looking towards and trying to enable the customer to come more closer to the sector, to understand insurance better. So this was never done a decade back, but now we see a lot of initiatives being driven around the customer's preference, and this is the biggest change, I would say, which is happening in the insurance sector. One of the technologies which has really picked up very well within the sector is about automation and AI. So we have seen a lot of use cases with related to robotic process automation or with related to AI. We are seeing a lot of insurance companies doing POCs with AI. Automation did set the ball running because the way chatbots or the virtual assistants have started taking place, and it's kind of reached a tipping point where almost every other company is adopting a chatbot or a virtual assistant and is already working with RPA, trying to automate the back-end processes and also trying to enabling the front-end stuff in terms of processing the applications, trying to bring the solutions more faster to the market. That is an interesting case study to see how technology is changing the way an industry was working. Otherwise, knowing that insurance industry always worked with, surrounded with papers and pens and so forth. So that is an interesting change. Along with it, the AI is now a very upcoming technology. We see a lot of use cases and companies experimenting with AI-based tools and technologies and trying to cover up, understand risks much more better in categorization of risk, in risk preventive measures, and also in terms of assessment of loss, how much it is, to the extent that it can be taken. We are seeing a lot of POCs being done across the region. Regulators are more friends to the industry, and earlier the perception that there was an initial hiccup, quite 7-8 years back, we would say that how we are going to cope up with the emerging technologies or the new kinds of solutions, will there be permissions granted or not? But gradually we have a lot of evidence to say that the regulatory agencies are trying to inculcate and keeping up with the pace of the technology advances, and we are seeing guidelines which are very friendly to the industry at the same time. So taking the technology adoption seriously within the strategy is very important, but at the same time exercising our options under a guidance is as much important to create a balance in the market. And this is in the best of interest for the end consumers as well as for the suppliers. I see it more as a collaboration with the industry and the regulatory agencies, the way it is functioning right now across the region. The biggest priority for any regulatory agency is to protect the customer first. So industry is driven by the motive of maximizing profit. But it's almost with every industry it happens, not only with the insurance sector, I would say. So driven by that motive, there is always a chance of compromising with customers' data or customers' privacy or the quality of product that is being given to the customer. And I think the regulator is taking the necessary steps it's required to protect the customer's interest first. The second aspect, I think, where the regulation is shaping up is in terms of how to use the data of the customer. So are we taking the proper consent? Are we asking the customer where the data is being used? Or how cautiously are we using this data to come up with products, or is it because we are kind of intruding too much into the lifestyle? To start with, I think the next opportunity would come from marketplaces and ecosystems. The domain expertise has been applied mostly into your own customer groups. And insurance as a sector, we have a very limited pool. So over the years, we do not see a very high peaks and troughs in the penetration ratio. It's almost the same. Over and above, there's a significant challenge in terms of the insured amount. So we also face the challenge of having a significant proportion of population which is underinsured. So this is the market that we have. The next challenge would be how to scale your own market, how to reach out to other customer groups and sell your products, because right now the industry is becoming very competitive with the insurtech playing at its own niche segments. Even the traditional insurance companies would also have to bring themselves up to kind of getting a more image of being digital friendly, so that even they can target the niche segments as much as the insurtech companies as well. Number two, can you be restricted to your own customer groups? Probably no. You might have to get embedded into the customer's lifestyle so that you're always maintaining the touch point with the customer at all levels. Acquisition costs are too huge to even let the one single customer go out of your touch point. So insurance companies would have a challenge to constantly bring up innovative solutions or services to retain the customer, one, in their own premises or within their own networks. Number two would be, how do you scale those value proposition to other customer groups? How far would you invent in your own in-house, or do you want to partner with other marketplaces and ecosystems as well to tap into their potential of their user groups? So it's a challenge as well as an opportunity. But yes, if this is an opportunity, then the companies would have to start looking at a very optimum partner who could gel in with their brand strength, who could gel in with their align to what they want to sell to the customers. But that is the future roadmap that we see. So insurance is not going to be just an insurance company or an entity. It needs to be more embedded with whatever products or services that have been acquired by the customers going forward.